Genesis13. Then Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, to the south. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he, and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there at first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. Unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of the Lord. Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks, and herds, and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. The Canaanites and the Perizzites then dwelt in the land. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. So Abram said to Lot, Please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right, or, if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go toward Zoar. And Lot lifted up his eyes, and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. And they separated from each other. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, Lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are northward, southward, eastward, and westward. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see I give to you and your descendants forever. For all the land which thou sayest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also could be numbered. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram moved his tent, and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built an altar there to the Lord. Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Genesis14. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel king of Shinar, Arioch king of Ellasah, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of nations. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel king of Shinar, Arioch king of Ellasah, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of nations, that they made war with Barak king of Sodom, Bershah king of Gomorrah, Shurnab king of Admah, Shemeber king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zor. That these made war with Bera king of Sodom, and with Bershah king of Gomorrah, Shurnab king of Admah, and Shemeber king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is, the Salt Sea. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and attacked the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shave Kiriathaim. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Ems in Shave Kiriathaim. And the Horites in their mountain of Seir, as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And the Horites in their Mount Seir, unto Elparan, which is by the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is, Kadesh, and attacked all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites who dwelt in Hazaz and Tamar. And they returned, and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, that dwelt in Hazazontamar. And the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zor, went out and joined together in battle in the valley of Siddim. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zor Winky Face, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. Against Kedorlaomer king of Elam, Tidal king of nations, Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Elasah 4 kings against 5. With Kedorlaomer the king of Elam, and with Tidal king of nations, and Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Elasah, 4 kings with 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of asphalt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell there, and the remainder fled to the mountains. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. Then they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their provisions, and went their way. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. They also took Lot, Abram's brother's son who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and they were allies with Abram. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. Now when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants who were born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. He divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants attacked them and pursued them as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shave, that is, the king's valley, after his return from the defeat of Kedorlaomer and the kings who were with him. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him, at the valley of Shave, which is the king's dale. Then Melchizedek king of Salem brought out bread and wine, he was the priest of God Most High. And Melchizedek king of Salem brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him a tithe of all. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods for yourself. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have raised my hand to the Lord, God Most High, the possessor of heaven and earth. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing, from a thread to a sandal strap, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich. That I will not take from a thread even to a shilachet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Except only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. Matthew 13. On the same day Jesus went out of the house and sat by the sea. The same day went Jesus out of the house, and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together to him, so that he got into a boat and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship, and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. Then he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went out to sow. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell on stony places, where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprang up because they had no depth of earth. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. But when the sun was up they were scorched, and because they had no root they withered away. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up and choked them. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up, and choked them. But others fell on good ground and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? And the disciples came, and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said to them, Because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance, but whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance, but whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, Hearing you will hear and shall not understand, and seeing you will see and not perceive. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Esaias, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes for they see, and your ears for they hear. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For assuredly, I say to you that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Therefore hear the parable of the sower. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom, and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is he who received seed by the wayside. When any one heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he who received the seed on stony places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures only for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while, for when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. Now he who received seed among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. But he who received seed on the good ground is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and produces, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. But he that received seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. But when the blade was sprung up, and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said to them, An enemy has done this. The servants said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather them up? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares you also uproot the wheat with them. But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took, and sowed in his field. Which indeed is the least of all the seeds, but when it is grown it is greater than the herbs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and nest in its branches. Which indeed is the least of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. Another parable he spoke to them, The kingdom of heaven is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal till it was all leavened. Another parable spake he unto them, The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took, and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. All these things Jesus spoke to the multitude in parables, and without a parable he did not speak to them. All these things spake Jesus unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things kept secret from the foundation of the world. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables, I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Then Jesus sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came to him, saying, Explain to us the parable of the tares of the field. Then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said to them, He who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, the good seeds are the sons of the kingdom, but the tares are the sons of the wicked one. The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy who sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Therefore as the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of this age. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and those who practice lawlessness. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and will cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire, there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid, and for joy over it he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking beautiful pearls. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchantman, seeking goodly pearls. Who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. Who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had, and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet that was cast into the sea and gathered some of every kind. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net, that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind. Which, when it was full, they drew to shore, and they sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but threw the bad away. Which, when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come forth, separate the wicked from among the just. So shall it be at the end of the world, the angels shall come forth, and sever the wicked from among the just, and cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire, there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said to them, Have you understood all these things? They said to him, Yes, Lord. Jesus saith unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They say unto him, Yea, Lord. Then he said to them, Therefore every scribe instructed concerning the kingdom of heaven is like a householder who brings out of his treasure things new and old. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. Now it came to pass, when Jesus had finished these parables, that he departed from there. And it came to pass, that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed thence. When he had come to his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, Where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, Whence hath this man this wisdom, and these mighty works? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And his brothers James, Joses, Simon, and Judas? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And his brethren, James, and Joses, and Simon, and Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Where then did this man get all these things? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? So they were offended at him. But Jesus said to them, A prophet is not without honor except in his own country and in his own house. And they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country, and in his own house. Now he did not do many mighty works there because of their unbelief. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. Matthew14. At that time Herod the Tetrarch heard the report about Jesus. At that time Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Jesus, and said to his servants, This is John the Baptist, he is risen from the dead, and therefore these powers are at work in him. And said unto his servants, This is John the Baptist, he is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do shew forth themselves in him. For Herod had laid hold of John and bound him, and put him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For Herod had laid hold on John, and bound him, and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. Because John had said to him, It is not lawful for you to have her. For John said unto him, It is not lawful for thee to have her. And although he wanted to put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was celebrated, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them, and pleased Herod. Therefore he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask. So she, having been prompted by her mother, said, Give me John the Baptist's head here on a platter. And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, Give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, because of the oaths and because of those who sat with him, he commanded it to be given to her. And the king was sorry, nevertheless for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. So he sent and had John beheaded in prison. And he sent, and beheaded John in the prison. And his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. And his head was brought in a charger, and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. Then his disciples came and took away the body and buried it, and went and told Jesus. And his disciples came, and took up the body, and buried it, and went and told Jesus. When Jesus heard it, he departed from there by boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the multitudes heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart, and when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. And when Jesus went out he saw a great multitude, and he was moved with compassion for them, and healed their sick. And Jesus went forth, and saw a great multitude, and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitudes away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, This is a desert place, and the time is now past, send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages, and buy themselves victuals. But Jesus said to them, They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. But Jesus said unto them, They need not depart, give ye them to eat. And they said to him, We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. And they say unto him, We have here but 5 loaves, and 2 fishes. He said, Bring them here to me. He said, Bring them hither to me. Then he commanded the multitudes to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitudes. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves, and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed, and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments that remained. And they did all eat, and were filled, and they took up of the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men, beside women and children. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray, and when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the fourth watch of the night Jesus went to them, walking on the sea. And in the fourth watch of the night Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a ghost. And they cried out for fear. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, Be of good cheer. It is I, do not be afraid. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. So he said, Come. And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water, to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink he cried out, saying, Lord, save me. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand, and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, Truly you are the Son of God. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth thou art the Son of God. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Genesaret. And when they were gone over, they came into the land of Genesaret. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent out into all that surrounding region, brought to him all who were sick. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all that country round about, and brought unto him all that were diseased. And begged him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as many as touched it were made perfectly well. And besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched were made perfectly whole. Psalm 7. O Lord my God, in you I put my trust, save me from all those who persecute me, and deliver me. Shiggaion of David, which he sang unto the Lord, concerning the words of Cush the Benjamite. O Lord my God, in thee do I put my trust, save me from all them that persecute me, and deliver me. Lest they tear me like a lion, rending me in pieces, while there is none to deliver. Lest he tear my soul like a lion, rending it in pieces, while there is none to deliver. O Lord my God, if I have done this, if there is iniquity in my hands. O Lord my God, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands. If I have repaid evil to him who was at peace with me, or have plundered my enemy without cause. If I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, yea, I have delivered him that without cause is mine enemy. Let the enemy pursue me and overtake me, yes, let him trample my life to the earth, and lay my honor in the dust, Selah. Let the enemy persecute my soul, and take it, yea, let him tread down my life upon the earth, and lay mine honor in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Lord, in your anger, lift yourself up because of the rage of my enemies, rise up for me to the judgment you have commanded. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger, lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So the congregation of the people shall surround you, for their sakes, therefore, return on high. So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about, for their sakes therefore return thou on high. The Lord shall judge the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to my integrity within me. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to mine integrity that is in me. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous God tests the hearts and minds. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous God trieth the hearts and reins. My defense is of God, who saves the upright in heart. My defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart. God is a just judge, and God is angry with the wicked every day. God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. If he does not turn back, he will sharpen his sword, he bends his bow and makes it ready. If he turn not, he will whet his sword, he hath bent his bow, and made it ready. He also prepares for himself instruments of death, he makes his arrows into fiery shafts. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death, he ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, the wicked brings forth iniquity, yes, he conceives trouble and brings forth falsehood. Behold, he travelleth with iniquity, and hath conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and dug it out, and has fallen into the ditch which he made. He made a pit, and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His trouble shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down on his own crown. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High.